Welcome to Talk to S.A.Channel, where we dive deep discussions into the most pressing global and national issues. Today, our guest is Professor Dr. Maudud Hossain Alamgir Pavel. He is a distinguished surgeon and academician with over 36 years of experience of teaching and research. He holds multiple fellowships, including the College of Physicians, Surgeons in Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Glasgow. He has served in key administrative roles, including Shohid Ziaur Rahman, Principal of Shohid Ziaur Rahman Medical College, and Project Director of 500-bedded hospital, with more than 41 national and international research papers, and he's actively involved in Ethical Review Committee, postgraduate medical education. Additionally, he is engaged in political analysis. The convener of BNP Media Cell. Today we will talk about BNP's endeavor towards regional politics, towards international politics, and towards national agenda. Welcome to Talk to S.A.Channel, sir.
Thank you very much.
My first question to you, can you briefly introduce BNP's media wing? Because do you think BNP media wing is successful to promote the injustice and the human rights abuse or human rights violation like extrajudicial killing, enforced disappearance, or endless corruption, money laundering that happened in the last regime? So do you think their weakness is one of the reasons? Because BNP is one of the major political force. So is it the BNP's media wing's weakness that they wasn't able to promote the injustices or the corruption or the endless money laundering that had happened in the last regime? Is it their failure?
Yes, I don't want to take this in this way, because you see the previous regime has a very known tendency of oppressing people, the freedom of the press and the freedom of speech, everything was, that it was shattered. And the BNP's expression and BNP's stand to just demonstrate the ideas and the issues that you have already mentioned was no exception here. But you will be happy to know about these things. The BNP was never sitting idle on these issues. BNP has formulated the documentation on this forced disappearances and on ethical issues that the previous regime has as a machine of the machinery of the operation.
A lot of BNP activists also faced enforced disappearance, extrajudicial killing as well.
So you know that we have categorically just numbered this forced disappearance at the number which is more than 500 disappearances that has been recorded, and extrajudicial killing number is more than a few thousands. So these all has been recorded categorically, and very frequently BNP has portrayed it as before the journalists. But that the journalism was had some hiccup from their own side, and also the lot of the strangulations that has happened that was forced by the previous government. So people was not in a position to know whatever the reality was existing there. So that is not the failure I just want to take in this way. Rather, we have all the documentation, we have portrayed this before the journalists and the media, but unfortunately the media was not very friendly, or media was not allowed to portray what the reality was.
So do you think the country is moving towards extremism? Because I know BNP has suffered from extremism, or the practice of extremism, in 2001 to 2007 because of the bomb attack in 64 District Court, 21 August attack, especially the attack on Ramna Bottomol, Mymensingh Cinema Hall incident. There are numerous attacks that's been, that went on during that period, and that actually helped the next regime to introduce BNP to its to Bangladesh's global partners or international partners, that they propagate and nurture extremism. So that humongously affected BNP while they were in power. So we know BNP is a political party. It always supported liberal democracy. So what's the party policy now? How they will confront those negative propaganda that's been circulated among the national and international community?
Yes, that is a very pertinent question. As you know that the rightist extremism is a very popular card that was played by the previous regime, just to prove that the country is safe in their hands. And as the Western world is a little bit skeptical about the uprising of this extremism in this part of the world. So they have played that card very frequently, And everything, whatever has happened, as a political party, BNP has nothing to be attached to all those things. As you know that BNP, as you have already mentioned, that is a liberal democratic policy, what is the mainstream of BNP's stay. And from the day one, BNP has never endorsed those things, and is not also doing the same thing here. And just to popularize this idea of the liberal democracy, we will always find that this is a political party where we include the ideas of the people, where we can just express your ideas, starting from the youth, from the women, and also every walks of life. And recently I've seen that there was a concert, the huge concert, that is Shobar Age Bangladesh. It was the name of that, the first Bangladesh first, as the slogan of that program was, where we have just tried to portray that BNP has got has accommodated the views of every corners of the people. So you cannot say that the BNP is a patron of the extremism. Rather, it is dead against the uprising of the extremism, and yes, you can also say that.
Do you think the country is going towards extremism?
That is what I just want to address in that way. I'm not just will say that the country is heading toward that, because the people of this country, you see, the war of liberation, what has happened, that was against that extremism, you know. So the idea of the liberation was just to accommodate the people of all walks of lives, and President Ziaur Rahman, who has declared the proclamation of the independence of our country, so he is the person who was the founder of this political party, and from day one he has just introduced the idea that the BNP from the very beginning is a country who, or is a political party, is always nurtures for the liberal democracy and always against it, and we are afraid that that same card is going to be played, and the players who used to play that cards is active once again, and they are trying to just take the part of our country's ideas towards that, and we are a little bit apprehensive of those things, and I believe that the people of our country is not in favor of this extremism, but there is a possibility, and there is a certain group of people is all definitely working on.
So what BNP is thinking to encounter this possibility?
Yes, BNP is always believes in democratic idea and openness for everyone. That's why we have mentioned in our charter, that is 31 points, perhaps you can, if you just gone through this one, which says that religion here is yours and the country is all, country is to all of us. So everybody has gotten his own right to exercise this religious rituals and everything, but at the end of the day, we think and we believe that country is all about, and our independence, our sovereignty is whenever it is at stake, the unity of our country will salvage this, and this has happened very recently in the last July-August revolution, you know. That has once again proved that this country is never in the line of the helping the uprising of the extremism.
True. The 10-track incident has given the signal to the neighboring country that if the BNP comes to the power, then it won't be good for the regional security. Well, the point 19 of, as you mentioned, the 31 point that's been declared by the co-chairman of BNP, Mr. Tariq Rahman, on 13 July 2023. Point 19 of 31 point reforms that's been declared, that's been said over there, that the soil of Bangladesh will never be used for terrorism.
Yes.
So that's the view that BNP does have. So what do you think that our neighbors or neighboring countries' suspicion, or they're inscrutable about if BNP comes in power, then the regional peace will be hampered?
I want to take this in two different perspectives, you see. This is another thing, just I have said that the extremist is a card, was a very popular one, used to be played by the person who were the parties in relation to this. Another one is that the geopolitical situation and the foreign policy of a country. We believe that foreign policy is something which is very changeable. We don't believe that there is a very permanent friends or permanent enmity in anywhere. And the present situation, international foreign affairs, is also definitely related to the economic development of the people and the country's own sovereignty and interest of the country first. That is taking as a point. And another one about the policies of this popular jargons that the BNP has got relation with this extremism. That's why our acting chairman has definitely said that this soil will never be used for the extremists to just just perform any of their activities. And he meant it. It's not simply a delivery of the words. Rather, he wanted to mean this as a business. And actually, this whatever you have said about the 10 track issues and all these things, BNP was in power at that time, you know.
True.
So any government, why that government will just say something which is going to put them in trouble? So there is no reason, because BNP has taken proper actions. They discovered the ammunition and the arm that was being smuggled in this country, and this was put into the regular law enforcing agencies to take care of those things. So having in power, no government will definitely want his position to be defamed in that way. So the issue that have been raised has got no valid points, you know.
Well, so the student has involved in politics in the past. They were involved in politics. There was a humongous contribution from them in the, 52 language movement,
War of Liberation.
Revolution, 69 revolution, 70s local election, national election, 71 War of Independence, later on in 90s movement. So
Yes.
student has contributed. They were politically aware, and we are happy and we are fortunate that our students do involved in national issues, but they didn't participate in the power. They didn't take share in the power.
Right.
But right now the situation is different. By taking share in the power, I mean that they didn't participate in the election while they were student, or while they're fresh graduate out of the university. So now things have changed. How do you see this change? Because now students who involved in revolution, now they want to participate in direct politics, and now they want a share of the power. So is it something new for BNP?
Yes,
or the
it is
people of this
something new
country?
for the whole nation, you know. You have said that there are two different words, the study and politics.
True.
So the person who are involved in studying is students, and the person who is involved in politics is politicians. So you cannot put them all together in a single basket, you see. So and everybody is welcome in politics. BNP has, on the day one after this revolution has been staged in our country, our acting chairman, Mr. Tariq Rahman, has very pertinently said, very loudly said, that he will welcome any political parties who will come up. But a political party definitely has to come up with its own ideology and some sort of principles and everything. But if you want to be a student and politician at the same time, it is a big question to everyone, maybe to the guardians, to the nation, and to the people everywhere. So we definitely encourage any political views and political parties. We were ready to welcome them all, but one must clear their identities, whether they are students or they are politicians.
But sir, you have thousands of students all over the country.
Yes.
But in our constitution, there is never any bar that you can't be a student as well as the member of the parliament. So if they want share of power, and if it's a new dimension that we are having.
Yes, that's true. But you see, student, there's no bar, that's true. But a person who is a 12th grade student, or a student of early part of the universities, they are not even eligible to be voters, you know. So how they become the member of the parliament? That's another thing. But I think this studentship is something, it is for the self-development. One must, politics is not a simple child's game, you know. Politics is a very serious issues. It's a serious type of, I don't want to say it as a profession, rather politics is something different thing apart from the education. You need the fundamental of the education, you know the global situation, you must know about the country positions, your economy, your geopolitical situations, your relations to your neighbors, your relation to the international globes and everywhere. So if you just want to be a good politician, you need a very good preparation, you know. So I think to be a real politician and to be successful in politics, one must have a very good preparation before one indulges themselves in politics. And you have rightly said that from the history of our country, student always was very instrumental in the language movement, in the non-cooperation movement of 69, War of Liberation, anti-Ershad movement in 90s. But students went back to their studies and their classrooms after the thing was achieved. But this time we find it really different. But maybe this is the global, maybe it's a global scenario or the situation. If it is the demand of the situation of the time-bound issues, Time will prove whether this was right or wrong. But I just want to end up with this question, answering in this way. The study and politics is not is something you can just put in a single basket. One has to be very well prepared before someone just step themselves in the business of politics.
On that note, we will go on a short break. After the break, do come back because we will discuss a lot more other important issues. Welcome to Talk to SATV, sponsored by Grand Palace Hotel and Resort. Before the break, we were discussing that how students have shifted, their mindset has shifted, because before in taking part in any revolution, they did get back to the campus, but now they want a share in the power. Sir, my question to you, what are the main challenges that the country is facing right now from our economic perspective and as well as other perspective?
One thing is very clear, this country is deprived of the democracy for more than a decade, so there is the first hunger of the people that they want this country to run a very democratic norms. That is number one issue. That is one thing. And another thing is that we just take this in this way. There are some potential risk of delaying election. The democracy is all about electing your representative to the proper places so that the country is run by the person who is elected by you. So there is no exception of that. And this government, the very what says the interim means that they are not permanent. They are just for a very brief period of time, have got some specific businesses to take care of, and finally there is a transition period over, and after that period is over, it is the political government will come up. So a political government has got so many advantages over any interim government. The political government has credibility all over the world. Any country or any agency who wants to be a financial partner of the economic investor here will definitely look for a government which democratically elected. That is number one. And a democratically elected government has got a very strong hold over the administration, over the law and situation, and also for the market issues, So the price hike of the essential commodities is a very big asking of the people. They are definitely struggling to run their everyday life, though it is little suitable or has become little bit of ease during the Ramadan period, but still whatever is the situation of the market is not very congenial for the people to accommodate with. So these are the challenges. The democratic transition, if you just want to take as number one, the global and economic relationship, the foreign direct investment in our countries, just the employment issue is another thing, because if you don't have got the investment, you are not going to get the employment at the same time.
I do talk to the ambassadors, and they say that for the foreign investment, major foreign investment to happen, they want a stable political government.
That's right. Everybody will ask because they want to see that their investments are safe.
True.
If nobody is going to invest somewhere which is the situation is very volatile and very uncertain. So somebody might ask that BNP always talk about the election, asking for the election or crying for the election, but it's not the reality. You see, a democratically elected government is necessity of a country to run, because if you just want to have economic stability, have good international and the foreign relationship, the control over the law and situation, law and order to be kept in position. Also, the employment is a big issue. If you just want to go for the big opportunities for the employment, and many other issues which are directly related to a government which is elected democratically. So I think these are the essential issues, are the important issues right at this moment before the people.
Well, are you suspecting the impartiality of the government? Because if you delay election, what damages it cause? We discussed about it.
Yeah.
Because and many of the political parties are demanding that election within the December is not practical. So there is a difference of opinion. So what BNP thinks about it? Because do they think it is wise to have an election within the December?
Actually, you see that BNP is never against any reform. That the cause of this delay is that they want to go for the reforms and everything. We are not against reform. We also, because 31 points is all about reform. We know that the country has been shattered. Our judiciary, our administration as legislative, everything has been destroyed by the previous government. So we need a lot of repairs in this field. But you see, reform is something which is a continuous process. It's a never-ending one. If you say that the reform is finished, that nobody is going to accept your opinion. So we think the essential reform that is necessary is for the electorals, is for the hosting and holding a free, fair, credible and participatory election. That is the very important area where the reforms are necessary. That is number one. Number two is that law and order to be kept under control, and the price hike to be controlled at any way. That is the people's demand at this moment. And from this point, we think, from the previous experience we have seen, the interim government for only 3 months could hold an election very successfully. But this time the situation is different, because our electoral process was damaged. So for this repair we need some time. That is very well accepted. But I think 15 months time after the revolution is staged is good enough for the essential reform that you have undertaken. And December is not a very, what should I say, extraordinary demand, unacceptable demand that has been made from BNP, that is the proper time for holding the election. And but perhaps you have also heard about the statement made by the chief advisor. He said that the election is possible in December. So is with the election commission. They are prepared to hold an election, national election by December this year. And the army chief is also in opinion of that the election could be held in December this year.
True. Another thing is that BNP or any other political party has to know when the election is. When you're sitting on an exam, you have to know the date of the exam.
That's very true.
Because you have to prepare yourself.
Yeah, that's why we had been asking for this roadmaps, you see. But maybe that this is a very unknown word to many of the other political parties. But we believe, as you have said, everywhere we need a preparation, not only preparation, we need a mental and a physical and a preparation for the election in a very specific way, so that a party like BNP, who has got so many interested people who wants to be a part of the election. So there is another issue that we have to address, because that the nomination aspirant number is not less in our party. So everybody is asking, and everybody is just working in the electoral areas to be attached with the people. So the people is asking that when this election is going to happen. So a government must come up with a very strategic and a very specific way and design that when they are going to hold an election. There is no harm in asking for a roadmap, you see.
True. The newly formed political party has claimed that you have failed miserably. The politicians have failed miserably. Even some of the advisors say had the politicians not failed, they wouldn't have to take the power in this way. So my question to you, why the people of Bangladesh will have faith on you? Because according to many of them, you have failed, and you have failed to ensure a democratic process, a continuous democratic process. Incessantly, the democracy is not restored over here. After every election, there is a dispute. So why people will have faith on you if you have miserably failed them in the past?
It's very unfortunate because you see, from my political party, the BNP, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party's point of view, I can just refer a few of the previous historical events. You know, in 1975, is the one-party rule Bakshal was introduced in our country, and our founder, President Ziaur Rahman, has once again opened the door for the multi-party democracy. So don't you think this is a reform? Another thing is I just want to say in this way, he was the person who has accommodated people from different spectrum. He has appointed Professor Ibrahim as his health advisor, Professor Abul Fazl as his the education advisor, and so many people like that, this were included. So that was a very new conception of including persons of quality to run a government. Don't you think this is a reform? Begum Khaleda Zia has introduced the parliamentary form of the government, and that was a switchover from the presidential form. Don't you think that's a reform? She has introduced the system of a caretaker government for holding an impartial, fair, free, credible election. Don't you think that's a reform? So if you just say in a single word that the politicians have miserably failed, maybe this is true for any other political parties. For BNP standpoint of view, that I can say in this way very strongly, that all the major changes and the revolution and the reform that has been taken place in the history or in the situation and the places of our political arena and political history, that's all has been been staged by BNP and has been conducted and done by BNPs. So we don't want to accept that allegation made by those people that the politicians has miserably failed. Maybe few of the political party could fail, but you cannot list BNP among them. BNP is a different party who has got a lot of contribution in the restoration and establishment of the democracy and people's right in this country.
Ladies and gentlemen, time to go on a short break. After the break, do come back. We will be having discussion about the next election. Welcome to Talk to S.A.Channel again, sponsored by Grand Palace Hotel and Resort. Before the break, we were discussing about the reform and how BNP think it's a continuous process and you need election for steady foreign investment. And we were into that discussion. So my question to you, are you suspecting the impartiality of the government, or how do you view the overall electoral process that we do have now in Bangladesh? Because there are a lot of demands that electoral process should be changed, the way of uniform government should go into a, the parliament should go into a dual chamber. There's a lot of reform proposals those are coming, though it's pretty much different from 31 points what BNP has. So they think for effective democracy, these reforms are necessary. So do you think that these reform proposals should be accepted for a inclusive, free and fair election?
I just want to take your second question first, and coming back to this the partiality issue later. This 31 point that has been introduced by our party acting chairman, Mr. Tariq Rahman, actually it was not a document that has been prepared by BNP solely. It was a basic proposal was coming up from the 19-point program that was launched by our late President Ziaur Rahman, and later it was also incorporated that Vision 2030 introduced by Begum Khalida Zia, and later BNP had a 27 points reform proposal which later was shaped to 31 points when some of our allied political friends and parties they have come up with their new proposals, and we have incorporated all those. So for a country like Bangladesh, we have tried to accommodate all the important issues to run this country to their prosperity and to just ensure a very free, credible and sustained future for our next generation. So I don't think anybody coming up with any proposal which has got any contradiction with 31 points, because 31 points is called talking about all basics and everything. So that is for the reform. BNP has thought about 2 years before the reform issue has come up very recently, because as you have said that this was placed long before, that is that 2022. And about the partiality issue, actually we have got a small observation. You see, when from the very highest position of this interim government is saying that he has got every blessings for the newly formed political party that we have been talking about. And when the press secretary or the chief advisor being flanked with the persons who have resigned very recently from the government and just wishing the party's success and even going up to that level, that have just ambition of seeing someone as their future prime minister even. So one has to be very clear, because some of the persons who happens to be their allies in their movement before is still existing in the government. So one must be very clear that whether they are a part of the government or there is a different independent political parties. If someone is a very member of a very independent political party, then their behavior should be like a political party. It should not be held by the district, the deputy commissioner of the districts to arrange the transport for their supporters to gather in Dhaka on the launching ceremony of the newly formed parties. And even people have got many questions about this political party's fund, and when they're a little bit shy about mentioning that is another question. And somebody even gone up to asking about hosting a iftar party, spending millions of money to host it in a 5-star hotel. So these are the issues, because this strikes people, because with the hopes and aspiration that was promulgated by the student or the people's inside revolution that has taken place in July last, has got those expectations from these people, from these leaders. But any deviation from that is going to hurt the people, definitely.
So what is your assessment of this government's handling crisis?
I don't find that every member of this cabinet is a very good crisis handler.
Because everybody is blocking the roads and demanding. So that's kind of peculiar.
Yes, if you say that, if I demand that this has to be addressed, and this is my demand, and the very next hour you just saying that yes, your demand is accepted, you cannot say that it's a very good managerial way of kind of crisis management. Especially the very visible failure is in our law and order situation. That is, from our party, we have always said that you go strongly. Recently, the ASEA issue was a very tragic event that has happened, and so many issues like that, the cruelty against women is another very important issue about which our party is very concerned. And that is the one thing. And another issue areas is that I'm not sure whether if anybody asks you about the names of the advisors who are in this government and their performances, if you just ask to anybody in our country, I'm not sure whether they'll be in a position to answer that very comfortably, because very little they have seen as the performances by these people.
Okay, but does BNP has any plan to form alliance with other political parties in the next election?
BNP is still in alliance with in sense of the morality. You know, BNP from day one, our acting chairman has said that BNP believes in a government of unity. You know, if to establish and to execute and to make this 31 point successful, you need the cooperation, collaboration, and participation and support from every corners of the society. For that, BNP is always committed to those allied political parties who has been their allied in the movement against this oppression and the fascist regime. And BNP has said that whatever is the election result, BNP will be definitely take up them as a part of their government, and they are going to form a government of unity if people feel that BNP should be running this country in future. So that's a common and very well said and very definite what should I say, the commitment from our party chief and party.
So many people has prediction that when the days are passing, BNP is losing its popularity because of the unruly political activists. They're failing to control them. So what BNP is doing to to strengthen its grassroots supports, because that's their prediction. Many of them suspect that with passing days, BNP is losing popularity.
Actually, I just want to take the particular word control. Control over those things, because control is not actually the role of a political party. A political party has got definite charters, you know. Anybody supporting a political party who is not in the payroll, you know. What we can do, we can take a disciplinary action against them. That our party has done. It has happened with hundreds of those persons. And whenever we say...
Even the central leaders have been,
Yes, even the central list has been asked for showing their causes. Why have they done these things? Because nobody was immune here, you see. And what party has done? The party has expelled them. Party has asked them to show causes why they have done. If the answer was not satisfactory, party has gone for the cancellation of their primary post in the party. So this much a political party can do. And the rest of the thing, whenever you see that he's a property grabber or a miscreant, he's a miscreant. He's never a political worker, you see. No, politics and miscreant is a different things. So whenever from our party position, we have taken disciplinary action against them, and rest of the thing has to be done by the government. There is the law enforcing agencies, the rule of law is there. So BNP is very much will be in line with them if they are going to take any actions as per the law of the land. So we're not going to defend anybody. So if you say that BNP is losing popularity, rather I just want to say that this is an exception.
I've added the phrase.
Yes,
with the passing days.
Yes, I just want to take this way. You have never seen any political party is expelling its party members for a cause which is not liked by the people. And this is an exception, I think, and this is accepted by the people in such a way that definitely this new move by the party's hierarchy to be harsh on their supporters or to party men by expelling them out, the general people are definitely going to love it. And I don't think this is going to just want to heat or on our popularity, rather is going to increase that in that way, because no political parties have done this before.
So would BNP allow media and civil liberties? Because freedom of expression is a forgotten trait for Bangladesh in the last 10 to 12 years.
Yes, our 31 points definitely say about the freedom of media, and it says in this way that everybody who has got his own views is ready, is allowed to express it. We are not going to see anymore that any person who now is not liking me to be placed in Ainaghar, or we are not going to just see the repetition of those days when somebody is taken into captivity only for just putting a mark on a Facebook post. So freedom of speech, freedom of media is a party commitment, and nobody is beyond question. So the media is allowed, and right at this moment, this is a practice in our party. You can ask any questions to our party hierarchy, and our party hierarchy will love to answer to that. So we are not going to see once again those stage and drama of the media and the press conferences that we used to see after the fascist prime minister, when after coming back from abroad, and we used to stage very funny press conferences like that. We are not going to see that anymore if BNP is taken to power, you see, in that way. But the people, if people think that BNP should be in power, definitely you see the media is free, and your freedom of speech will be protected at any cost.
Professor Dr. Maudud Hossain Pavel, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you and coming to
thank you very much. Thank you
so much.
See you.
We are in the last part of the show. Throughout the discussion, it came out that for foreign investment, you need a stable government, and how BNP is open about reform. Even the chairman is pretty much open for any reform proposal, and impartiality should be ensured, as well as the extremism is another concern that our country is facing. And how BNP has taken strong measures against the political party activists who were engaged in anti-state laws. So throughout our discussion, we know that how BNP wants to endeavor their reform proposal and how they want to serve this country. So ladies and gentlemen, there is the end of the show. Until the next show, there is a goodbye. We hope we will see into the next episode of Talk to S.A.Channel, sponsored by Grand Palace Hotel and Resort. Thank you so much.